a hex monster, the one with the 6 elements over here, which is being taken away by Wubbox. Hang on, Wubbox, don't you dare take that away. I've been waiting for that for years. For a hex monster, it would be a monster featuring the elements plant, cold, air, water, earth, and fire. And it would be our only ever hex monster to exist inside of the game, and I've obviously debuting hex monster as well in this instance. Now, let's head on over to Monster Handler Map before continuing our conversation, though, as there's an important tidbit inside of here about the future behind this monster.
There have been floating rumors for years of a hex element monster, but the 5 naturals and 1 fire element already has a manifested form in the monster world. The hex element monster is Wubbox.
So as Matt has revealed there is no hex monster coming, and it's been deconfirmed. This is something that we've been waiting upon for years, so this getting debunked is a pretty big deal. And the fact that I'm only managing to talk about this right now, and we've known for months, I'm not sure why that's happened, but we're here today to discuss about it. Now, Matt has confirmed here that the hex monster is actually Wubbox, and that the hex monster won't ever exist in its true amalgam. Now, does this make sense? I would absolutely say no. I don't think this makes sense from a lore perspective, as if we look into the lore here, this is essentially saying that Wubbox takes upon all of these elements. If we take a look at Wubbox's design over here, you can see that all of Wubbox is based on electricity, as its element is the supernatural element. Therefore, tying Wubbox to all of these 6 elements, I do think is a bit weird, as it doesn't represent them in any form, and therefore I think it really doesn't make sense, especially when we go on back to the fact that Wubbox does not exist inside of Dawn of Fire 2. Wubbox was created by Galvana straight after the Dawn of Fire time period where the continent broke apart, so therefore Wubbox technically can't be that amalgam. If Wubbox was the true amalgam of all of these 6 elements combined, then theoretically it would be the case that this monster would be available inside of the Dawn of Fire, and that Galvana actually wouldn't have had the chance to create Wubbox in the first place. Now, I do understand what Matt is saying here. He's just trying to say that it's the amalgam as the monsters kind of envision it. However, from a lore perspective, I do think looking into it a little deeper, the fact does remain that this amalgam still does not exist inside of the monster world. No matter if Wubbox does represent it in a way or not, there is no representation of this amalgam in its true state. So therefore, I do think that there is still potential for us to have a discussion here about this amalgam hex monster. This is absolutely not a troll before we do continue as well. I know all of these comments are going to be talking about Epic Wubbox and how My Singing Monsters loves to troll us all over, but this is not a troll. What Matt is saying here is confirming something inside of the lore which we've never seen before, and therefore I don't think this is a troll in any form, especially if we're going back to Dawn of Fire 2. Dawn of Fire is very lackluster when it comes in terms of updates, and as getting this update that Wubbox is supposed to be this amalgam definitely does seem as though it suits Dawn of Fire in a sense, as Dawn of Fire doesn't get updated that often, so I don't expect them to add something that they're saying it doesn't exist. So therefore I do think they are being very honest towards this point that is being made here. I do believe though now that we need to go into why this monster should come. The hex monster is our only 6 elemental that could theoretically ever exist inside of the game. If we're talking about an island having a 6 elemental as well, the continent having a 6 elemental is pretty much our only chance to ever see that in the franchise, alongside all of the other monsters that we have too. The continent is so grand and it has that much of a big roster, there's no chance for that to ever happen, I do think, inside of the franchise ever again. So if they don't encapsulate on this hex monster, I think it's going to be a really big missed out opportunity, as I don't see this being a thing that can occur in the future of the game. So therefore I do think missing out on this opportunity is a really big no-no for this. This monster could have the most elements ever inside of the franchise. Can we just picture the possibilities behind this as well? Having a 6 element monster would already be so cool, but imagining how they can picture it all together. I mean, the Quints are already on a class level of their own. Dromedary and Candelabra are so cool, and I have no doubt the rest of the Quints, when they come along, will be absolutely tremendous as well. Just thinking about that Amber Island countdown, I think we're on on 2 weeks or something crazy like that now till we get our next Amber Island monsters. But thinking about what the quints could be like is ever so exciting, and considering a hex monster and what they could do with it, that would be absolutely insane, I do think. An amalgam of all of those elements and how they could fluctuate between each other and how they'd even conceptualize that in the first place would be a really unique challenge for the game and would bring about lots of possibilities for not just the design but also the sound. Imagining what they could do for this hex monster to make it appear this grand-like monster would be absolutely tremendous. And if we really are going to go back towards Wubbox and they'd want to encapsulate that link towards Wubbox, why not just encapsulate that inside of the design behind the hex monster? Seeing as though Wubbox is supposed to be linked towards this hex, let's actually integrate that into this monster's design. It could be Galvana's inspiration. Let's link it back to the Wubbox and make it a part of the Wubbox's lore and really encapsulate on why Wubbox was supposed to be the neurons of the Colossals. Maybe this could therefore tie back to the Colossals in some place and be a very important lore piece that was missing towards the franchise. Now they've tied it back to Wubbox, I honestly see even more possibilities behind what this hex monster could be like. And just thinking about its design and its lore and everything that they could tie back to now with this, it honestly seems like such an extravagant idea that would be an awesome surprise to bring back to the franchise. Fans have just wanted this for absolute years, and delivering on this and bringing about something like this, which honestly I do expect never to come along, would be a thrill, honestly, as Dawn of Fire just deserves this grand call out. Honestly, if Dawn of Fire is to end in any form its Fire Elemental run, this is the perfect way to do it. And if they didn't do this, I think it would not just be a bummer for Dawn of Fire, but also just the elemental classes in general. This is our only chance to get this amalgam of elements. And even though I'm sure they're going to absolutely deliver on those quints, seeing what they can do with this, oh, it's the icing on top of that cake, and I want it. I want it. I've been waiting for years for this thing, and I can't tell you how disappointed I were, guys, when I heard about this being debunked. I think it has been debunked in a way, but I still do believe there is a way to revive this concept, and I'm sure you guys can see where I'm going with this, especially if we go on back to Dawn of Fire right now. Let's consider all of those islands that we have, specifically with the ending verses of Space Island and the continent. The quints are still going to come along and fill those up, I'm sure, but those ending verses, I just don't see them being as full as what they could be, and this hex monster coming along could be exactly what those verses need. Some kind of grandiose monster coming along and spinning the heels up on those songs could be a really revolutionary thing. And going back to Amber Island too, everything's just laid out. I mean, they can have it on Amber Island too and bring it back to the original game. I just don't see why this couldn't be an option. We'd have more Dawn of Fire as well. We don't know where Dawn of Fire is going in the future, and regardless of wherever it may be going, this is just the perfect chance for them to end the Fire class run, which has been going on for years. I am in full faith that this monster is such a significant being towards not just the franchise overall, but to fans' wishes, that I do believe that this monster does deserve a chance to shine. They've gone ahead and tied it back to Wubbox, and do forgive me if I'm wrong, but Dawn of Fire really doesn't receive that many updates, and this to me seems like a thing where they might just be like, okay, Dawn of Fire doesn't really get updated, let's just skip out on this one. But this one is potentially the most important monster ever to Dawn of Fire, and therefore, even if it might have been debunked, I'm still in the roots that they should deliver with this one, as I see an amazing chance for them to revitalise Dawn of Fire and bring about something new to both games. Anyway though, guys, let me know what you think about our Hex monster down below. Do you agree with it being debunked and deconfirmed, or would you like to see it return just like I would? Make sure to leave a like down below though, guys, and to subscribe too. I'll see you guys later though, for now, in the next century, or however long it might take for us to get all of these fire monsters in Dawn of Fire. If this thing is ever to release, I think we're going to be waiting a while. In classic Dawn of Fire tradition, we've got to go on that year-long hiatus first, haven't we? But I will see you guys then if it does make its return. Let's hope that we might have changed the minds, guys. We'll see. But anyway, guys, I will see you later. Bye, guys.